What happens when you mix powerful worship, rock influences, and a legendary collaboration? You get Sound of Your Name, the latest track from Presence Music Band featuring Anne Boleyn's Stephen Christian. Today we're going to talk about the heart behind the song and more. You don't want to miss this one. Stay tuned. Kingdom Builder TV starts now.
Half of my praise isn't enough for you. A piece of my heart, you said it just won't do. If all of me is what you require, then giving you...
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Laxton with Kingdom Builder TV, and today we have an exciting interview with Brandon Monson of Presence Music Band. Their latest track, Sound of Your Name, features Stephen Christian from Anne Boleyn, and we're diving deep into the heart of the song, their collaborations, and more. Thanks, Brandon, for joining us.
Excited to be here. Is this now a good time to tell you I get really nervous on camera?
Well, it's too late now to start recording already. So.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man.
No, you're good. It's definitely been really jamming to the song, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I heard about your music through, of course, your distribution, and before we get into that, can you just tell us a little bit about Presence Music Band, what it consists of? I know you and your wife are kind of like the primary writers in the group. How does that all work out? What's that mission behind that music?
Yeah. So it's my wife and I and my good buddies, Jake, who plays electric guitar. Well, they both play electric guitar. He's kind of rhythm guitar. Merrill is lead guitar, call it. And then we have some drummers that fill in with us when it's more of a full band thing. My wife plays keys, and I'm mainly vocals, and I'm the team manager and the team mom for it all that's worth. So kind of the short version is it started with kind of a ragtag group of area worship leaders that banded together to play for some Christian camps. It really grew out of just a need in our area for, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin. I don't know, special music's kind of an old term, but like they needed somebody, outside of just the regular church worship team to do something a little bit special, like open for the national artist coming to town, or somebody needs to play the butt end of the festival at 11 a.m.,
Right.
Or play a youth camp and it's really blossomed into something that is now officially national as of not that long ago. And our goal is we want to make it hard to miss out on Jesus at any event we lead. So make no mistake, we hope people that hear our music, that, just hear how we go about our business. It is definitely kingdom focus and mission focus, specifically partnering with churches to help them host outreach events and do things maybe they didn't have the tools to do on their own, and get the gospel in front of people that aren't in the kingdom right now. So,
oh, that's awesome. I mean, the Sound of Your Name, which was released a few weeks ago, it's definitely a very powerful track, very musically and lyrically. So for someone who might just be experiencing it for the first time, you can tell that there's a lot of heart there. Can you tell us a little bit about that inspiration behind the song and that message you hope that listeners would take away from it?
Absolutely. My coworker is needing me to open something. My beautiful 4-year-old coworker. That's what I say when it's work mode, but now it's I'm on personal time. That's my beautiful daughter. Okay. So so it actually grew out. It's kind of a interesting or funny story. It was the first song we started to write with myself and my wife and the kind of the other co-band leader at the time, who has since kind of moved on to other opportunities. So it was kind of a convergence of styles. As far as the P wrote a verse and wrote the chorus, and then my wife and I kind of wrote the rest of it. But he kind of exited the group, long story short, and we also kind of wanted to take and move the song in a different direction, but also really wanted to still record the song basically, and wanted to have, we're big on features, big on partnering with people, not just vocalists for songs, but ministries. And we're just big on partnership and networking. So I'm a fan, but especially my electric player, Jake, is a huge Anne Boleyn fan, grew up listening to him, and really wanted to have Stephen Christian on and featuring specifically on a song. Didn't really matter what, but we picked out this one as, doesn't really sound like an Anne Boleyn song, but some of the stuff that Stephen Christian is putting out specifically, the newer stuff or whatever, his solo stuff, it kind of fits that vibe. So we got in touch with him, and he actually loved the song and was willing to to feature on it with us. And, that's what it came out of. But I guess, yeah, cool story about the song specifically is, loved the song, but specifically weren't super duper happy with the chorus. And so basically we totally rewrote the chorus 5 a.m. the morning of the studio, when we were going to record it. So like where we record most of our music is EK Productions down in Atlanta. They have like an apartment out of the studio, which we can rent very cheap when we're recording. So it's connected to the studio. So I'm literally sitting there 5 a.m. Woke up, honestly, if like the Lord would like woke me up early, and I spent some time in devotion and prayer, and felt God give me the verse, where it's talking about how the Holy Spirit fights for us, and when we don't know what to say, and that birthed out the new chorus and kind of fitted into the rest of the song. So yeah, that's the story. That's the behind the music, I guess.
No, that's great. I mean, that's why we want to know a little bit about that how that came about. Because I'm look at the chorus now. It's it reads, "You call me closer when I've run away. Your spirit fights for me when I'm too weak to pray. I've done rebellion, now I choose to stay. I humbly bow my knees at the sound of your name, And just I like the way it starts off very soft, and then of course it crescendos into the power that you want to have in a worship track, and that's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's how you want to classify it, but of course there is. I think a lot of things recently, especially have a lot of especially with the electric guitars and things like that. So I think kind of working with Stephen Christian, being kind of in the rockish field, that kind of fits well with that. But
Yeah.
I was a huge. Actually, Anne Boleyn fan too when he was part of the group. Was there any
He
particular?
still is kind of sort of depends
Yeah,
on
I
the
know. It's
day.
like right. He's like the
He's still hanging
whenever
around.
whenever he decides he wants to, basically.
Literally, yeah. We'll have
Was
to
there
ask him.
anything right? Was there anything about the song about his background besides maybe the rock side of things that brought that in? That his influence brought in besides I know what he's doing on the solo end of things.
Yeah, I mean the musical styles really hit. I'm trying to find my electric player had a story, and I'm going to try to paraphrase it. I'm looking through my text to try to find it, but him and his wife went to see them,
Mm,
and when they were just starting dating, and
mhm,
believe the story goes that the show was full, so he somehow got in, like it was sold out, and he somehow got in contact with the band directly, and they like basically comped him tickets, or they said I think it was like their anniversary or something like that. And they literally like Anne Boleyn, whatever it was 20 years ago,
mhm.
comped them tickets and got them in the show and got them like somehow in on the front row. So they both Jake and his wife had just been in love with that band kind of ever since. So
Oh,
it was
that's
definitely
awesome.
a very surreal. Maybe I'll have to have him on next week, but definitely a very surreal moment for him,
Mhm.
to get to work with Steven and helping. We wrote the song, but help him, put his spin on it from a vocal perspective, and it was really cool.
Now with the Presence Music Band and other songs that you put out there, how would you? I know I mentioned this particular track was more of a worship, like very worship and praise type track, but again, more on the rock end of well, a lot of
A little
guitar, a
bit,
lot of
yeah,
drums.
yeah.
How would you describe, or what would you kind of get your influences from as far as the different songs you put out? What would people compare you to?
Well, and I don't know if it's a good way or a bad way, but we've opened for Ben Fuller a couple different
Okay.
times, and we'll play a 30-minute set, and one of the it's all overtly Christian, but like we have a kind of a country tune where KJ52 has a rap in it. We have another
Hmm.
one where it's all KJ52 rapping. We
Hmm.
have our producers that we've used most of our songs are legendary secular pop punk producers.
Hmm.
Like they have 10 platinum albums, so there's definitely that influence in there. Um, There Was a Man is probably kind of more punk rocky worship. This one is kind of like a little bit rock worship. So all that to say, Ben Fuller said, came up to me. It's kind of a flex, kind of not. I don't know. I think he's pretty cool. Says, you guys are, like kind of like in a good way though, like kind of like a Christian bar band, in that you have so many different like styles, like all in one set. But he's like, I think that's kind of cool. It's like that could be kind of your thing,
Hmm.
because it's like everybody. It's like you got to fit all the songs in a certain mold. You're listening to the whole album. I get cohesiveness, but on the flip side, it's like, oh, it sounds like they just played the same song 10 times, right?
Hmm.
Where every one of our songs is at least more recently trying to make it semi cohesive, but to like we're not afraid to just write great songs, or at least good songs, whatever you want to call them. My wife does 90% of it, so I guess maybe I can say that they're great songs. But that was what the Building 429 guy, Jason, told me. I would say we opened for him. Ben Fuller, we opened for directly, but he was on at 7 and we were on at like 2 or something. So I don't know if that really counts. But he said, we were kind of joking about this band, which I won't mention, that is really heavy on the jumping around and doing backflips, kind of Benson Boone style, maybe in their shows, a Christian artist. But like maybe the songs aren't that great. I guess that's not up, that's up to personal preference. But was kind of joking with him about that. And, he's like, oh, you don't have to worry about doing a backflip off the piano. He's like, man, I know it sounds simple, but it's hard too. He's like, if you just write great songs, like the rest will take care of itself. Right. It's basically like, even if you got the world's worst stage presence, like if you're writing great songs, it's going to make an impact. So that's what we tried to do. I'm not saying we're there yet, but kind of, I guess, bringing the threads together. Even if the styles are different, sometimes wildly different, we're going to just trying to write songs that'll impact people, that come from our hearts, from our testimony. My wife is someone that's dealt with, depression and suicide, even, as talks about that in our shows. And I've been a person that's in long-term recovery from alcohol for the last 8 years. So that's something that we, I talk about my recovery journey. So we try to be real and try to be catchy if we can. So influences all over the place, but kind of CCM pop in caps. Worship is kind of a secondary genre, would be your short story long as to our musical influences.
So as far as that bigger picture of your mission as a band, this fits in pretty well. But again, it's not, you've got a nice repertoire of different styles that within what your
sir, we do.
Set would put out, which is great because I know that you're working with NRT Music, or New Release Today's, their music distribution and servicing brand that Kevin McNeese runs. And how has that helped your journey in the process with that team? Just because we love that team over there, they're good friends of ours, and we just want to see how that's come about.
Yeah, it's been great. Kevin actually reached out. I think it was based on, I think they've done a lot with KJ52 over the years too, and heard one or two of the songs we've had with him, and just wasn't there like, oh, we absolutely, your music's absolutely incredible, we have to sign you. But they did mention that they liked the music, like we were doing with KJ, and they were at least open to a conversation, Kevin. So we had a couple meetings with him, and at the same time we were evaluating kind of a small to medium sized record label, but one that has national distribution. I won't name names, but just what we were offered, but just wasn't a perfect fit for our ministry at the time. So just really like the flexibility that they have, where it's like, maybe they're not providing as hands-on with everything as like some sort of major label deal, but on the other end, they're not taking a humongous chunk out of everything either, I guess is the kind of the trade-off. But honestly, was super impressed with Kevin and his heart and his experience and the team that they have behind him. Some of the other folks that are there, and like Brendan, who does a couple different things for him. So yeah, it's been really awesome working with them, just from helping get our music out there and use their marketing wing, which is kind of what we expected. But what I guess has been a nice bonus, or what we didn't expect, is just kind of getting to learn from Kevin and all his experience, just personally as a coach and as a mentor. And then just the community of artists they've brought along. Some of them are independent, maybe in a similar place to us. Some are a half a step behind. Some of them are a half a step or a whole step or two ahead of us, like Big Dismal has a double ward, but are kind of restarting their career. It's a really great community that we can learn from too. And I believe that everything rises and falls on relationships. I think that's attributed to, I don't remember, John Wooden maybe, or leadership. Yeah. John Maxwell, that's what it is. But the community and his experience has been really helpful for us too.
Absolutely. I think that's the relationship factor is definitely key, because, with, in the industry that we're in, the Christian music industry, that's part of what we're supposed to be living as Christians, to be communal with others. And so that's a huge part of it. And why I think it's a great thing that, NRT, New Release Today, is doing that for artists out there. And it's amazing to see that. And that's how we came across your music. So, which is great. And actually in that particular release that we received, it also mentioned that there's some news that about something that's happening with the group as well, that you guys just
Yes.
recently partnered with Align Talent Agency. So how did that come about, and what is that going to mean for your future now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thankfully, Lord willing, all of our news has been positive breaking news. There's been some negative breaking news in the Christian industry recently, so we try to have only positive breaking news. But yeah, so I guess it kind of came about organically. A couple different threads kind of led us to there. Compass Music Management is also folks that we're contracted with and buddied up with as kind of our management team. Lauren is kind of the main focus there. Hammett, and then Laurel Taylor has her other fun producing and sync stuff that she has going on, but she is definitely advising as well. I think they have some relationships there. One of their kind of headliner artists is Seventh Time Down, and then we had
Hmm.
Cliff, their bass player, guest on our track. I thought he did a beautiful job. Lure me down, go listen to it. And then we put a day or two together with him where we did CCM Magazine and their little tiny desk session thing. And what we also put on a show at Just Love in Spring Hill. And that Align Talent president guy was there and
Hmm.
heard our set. It was acoustic. Our voice was pretty ragged from recording a song and doing a couple other things that week. But I guess this will be insider that you probably haven't heard anywhere else. We contacted them about 8 months ago. Said, hey, listen to our stuff. And they're like, hey, it's pretty good, but no, thank you. So cut to 6 months later. Now I think we've been with them like a month or something like that.
Hmm.
The kind of the Laurel and Lauren kind of advocating for us. Cliff advocating for us. Not only like, hey, their music's good. I'm on one of the tracks, guys, but just getting to work with him and get to know him a little bit better. We also put a tour together of 5 dates with Joel Vaughn, one of their other artists, love him. Not quite as big as Seventh Time Down, but still signed, has a major label deal, and putting out great music and getting to work with him a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what the difference was, but some factor of all those together and seeing our show in person, he came back to us and said, hey, maybe we should come back to the table and meet on this in more detail, and had 2-3 meetings and just kind of see if our values and what we're looking for aligned, and for Aligned Talent, and it did. So yeah, they've been a great partner, and we've got some great things in the works, doing some kind of co-booking with some of their major
Hmm.
headliner artists, in addition to Joel, who we already have some stuff with. And I think it's going to be a really great partnership, where I'm kind of unique in that I'm an artist, but also have some skills in management and promotion and booking and kind of day of show kind of stuff. So in the music industry, if I'm ever going to do this full time eventually, you got to kind of wear a lot of hats. I don't know if that's
Right.
how you do it as well, but so I can wear. I'm not saying I wear any of them super well, but I wear like all of the music industry hats besides producer at least fairly well. So we're just trying to love and serve as many people as I can. I don't want any of my gifts that God's given me to go by the wayside. So we're in the here I am, Lord, send me kind of a place right now, which is, I think, where we should always be.
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
multitasking is a priority. Or, I'm sorry, not a priority, a
necessity.
necessity. Yes, there you go.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
word,
sir. Yeah,
necessity. Just because, again, we don't have the support of those bigger labels, and even in that case, you might not even want that support. You want to go ahead and do it your own way, and have that freedom to do that, which is great. That, again, who you're partnered with, that allows
yeah,
that to happen, and be able to have that more of that creative aspect of it. And you go from being a regional group in Minnesota to now, hey, you might be touring some national dates. And again, as I mentioned before, off record, that you come down to Florida. I'd love to meet up with you guys and maybe do a live in person and
that'd
just
be
really
super
talk. That'd be
fun.
awesome. It'd be
We'll
really
be in
cool.
we'll be in Orlando, I think 10 through 14 or something of April. So I know
Then
that's kind of far,
we'll
but
talk later, because I work in Orlando twice a week. So
oh, there you go.
we'll talk about that a little bit later. Maybe we'll meet up. But
I'm gonna break
as
KJ's freestyle record by myself,
oh, there we
and you're
go.
gonna do a part two. Was it like 2 days or something? I'm gonna
It
really
was
start more.
13 or 14 hours, I believe it was. It was
Okay.
insane. It was a group freestyle, which actually, I don't know if he told you, Guinness is actually not doing that record anymore. They pulled it from the books. So the KJ's freestyle team is the only team to ever have it. They're the ones holding it, and it's never going to get broken again, because
Oh,
it's the
unless they put
only
it
team.
back.
unless they put it back, but we'll see. But
That'd be
um,
terrible. I love KJ. I'm gonna say I could break it, but just out of respect for him, I'm not gonna freestyle for 15 hours. So
no, yeah, it was a group freestyle, so everybody got there's like a half dozen people that were part of it, but
I
it
was
was
saying
it
I'm
was
gonna
an
do it
awesome.
solo, Mike. I would do it solo.
There you go. And I think that one's longer for some reason, which is really weird. I've not I didn't expect it to be longer than the 14 hours. I figured the team would go longer, but
Oh,
you know what? Guinness is what it is. And
there you go.
you know, it was definitely a lot of fun back in the day. But as far as Presence Music Band, you've got, you know, some tour dates coming up. What's next? What any other collaborations coming up that you can talk about? Any other projects on the horizon? What do we looking forward to?
Have you heard of Casting Crowns?
I think so. I think they have.
Okay, yeah, we are not currently slated to work with
Oh,
them.
you're not.
No, unfortunately not. That was just a tease. But we do have song coming out in March, and then another one I think early May.
Hmm.
We are actively exploring some different feature options, but don't have any currently. But in the works, where you know we did a lot on the front end, like
Hmm.
Jason Lancaster from Mayday Parade, KJ, the Cliff from Seventh Time Down, Steven. Like that's a lot, two with KJ. So that's a lot of features. We have more with features than without them. So, but yeah, we'll be going back to the studio in May, and I'm sure we'll have a feature. So if you have any suggestions or connections, let me know.
Cool. Yeah.
But as far as what's new, you know, yeah, we're starting to do some with Aligned Talent, and then with another agency we work with that will kind of come alongside Aligned. Really, what we've been praying about, like our next step in our journey, is just to be busy serving Jesus. But kind of next step where we're at as an artist is, you know, not just opening what, you know, for somebody like Ben Fuller when he comes to town, but being a part of the planning and being the part of the
Hmm.
conversation. You know, we've always done our headlining stuff, meaning small churches and camps and retreats and that kind of thing. But adding to that with catching on with an artist like Joel, or you know, I mean, you can look at it's not a surprise, but the artists with Aligned that are, you know, signed to national labels like Seventh Time Down and Loving the Outcome and Stars Go Dim, Dan Bremnes. So we're actively working with some or all of them to put together some regional. I don't want to use the tour word, you know, and we're just humble servants of Jesus. But I don't know,
Hmm.
if 3 to 5 dates with one particular artist is a tour, then that would be, we're working on some tours, or some long weekends would be maybe a little better way to put it. So that's newer to us, where we're, you know, I guess up leveling as far as size of venue, but really for us, it's not about spotlight. It's about having people have an encounter with Jesus. And because there's not a ton of people doing what we do in our kind of small slice of heaven and kind of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Dakotas, Iowa, we're kind of a Swiss Army knife, like I mentioned, stylistically, but like we have a set in Ableton just for
Hmm.
youth camps. We have an original heavy set, and we have like a Sunday morning worship that's heavy on the worship cover set. So it's like we will do, you know, one of the other things we say, we will do anything short of sin to reach one more person for Jesus. So like, we're not, we've done a kids camp, you know, we are technically a signed national artist now, but if that's what's going to move the gospel forward, is for me to go play Pharaoh at a kids camp, call me up. I'll be there next weekend. I got next weekend free.
Amen.
So that's how we're wired. So my goal and my hope and my prayer is however far God takes it. Honestly, it's already way farther than I thought it would be. You know, I got different artist agencies, like 2 or 3 of them talking about different tours and stuff. Never thought that would happen in a million years. I want to stay humble and stay focused on serving Jesus, whether it's Devil Ward or Red Rocks or what. You know, don't let my, I don't know, management or whoever hear this, but if we were in the exact same spot and we got to do this 20 more years and weren't any less or more big, whatever it is that means, man, I would be over the moon happy and just so blessed when my head hits the pillow every night. So
Awesome. Well, again, that's a great philosophy to live by, because that's the mindset we need to be, you know, when we're serving God, and just putting it all out there, and just going out, because it only takes one
and
life change
angels in
to
heaven
make it work.
rejoice. Yes, sir.
Exactly. You know, we're talking to a lot of artists recently that are more, I guess you would say, more independent. You know, they're not, again, on those bigger labels.
More
What
aspiring.
kind
Are
of
you saying we're only aspiring, Mike? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, no, no. I'm saying you're past that, because you're past that point. We've gotten past that. But for those who
We're like
are
half a
aspiring,
yard past that. Yeah, that's
you're gonna make me eat my
if
words now.
if at all. I'm just giving you poop.
No. So for those who are aspiring, who might be watching, what kind of words of advice or wisdom would you give them as far as navigating through the landscape of the Christian music industry? Because that's something that, obviously you talked a little bit about the multitasking and things like that. What kind of advice would you give to someone watching?
I'm not saying we've done everything perfectly, but we've been able to avoid some of the pitfalls. And that's, I think in the secular industry, but probably in the Christian industry too, people get focused on a certain goal. Like, I want a major label deal. I want Red
Mhm.
Rocks. I want a Dove Award. And kind of really like kind of try to skip to the end of the rainbow. And some people do get there. They just blow up. Right. But like
Mhm.
talking to, well, Ben Fuller was a little bit quicker and more like 3 or 5 years, but like Michael Cochran from
Mhm.
Cochran and Company, Cliff from Seventh Time Down, they both say like it's 10 years to be an overnight success, right? Like
Mhm.
they blow up because their song goes big, but like they've been touring heavy, just serving the community they're in for 7 years, 10 years before, they make it. So,
Mhm.
for me, I would even say it's not about like, hey, put in the hard work. Uh, but that's definitely true too. But I would just say love and serve your area well. For better or worse, our social media and some of the team behind us and our music is catching up to us just being, a band that's out there live a lot.
Mhm.
And it's not because we want people to hear us and enjoy our music, but we hope that's true too. It's we want to reach people for the gospel. So, in the Christian industry, obviously, man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. So, um, I that would be my encouragement is to be busy serving Jesus and get your don't even worry about getting your music out there, but
Mhm.
God has given you gifts. God has given you talents like money, like the parable, but also physical talents, and just be busy using them for Jesus and say, "Here I am, Lord, send me." And if
Mhm.
that stuff follows, great. But we're running the race to go to heaven and have Him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Right?
Mhm.
I don't know if just going after a Dove Award and that's the end all be all or whatever it is being good and faithful. But being busy serving Jesus with the time and the talents that you have, which varies, right? But whether it's for 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, that's it. That's, so then, and you can't really, the nice thing is that has 100% batting average. You can't
Mhm.
fail if your
Right.
goal is just reach people for Jesus with music or with hip hop dancing or with comedy or whatever it is. It has 100% success rate, but it just success looks different for everybody. So I don't know if that was super cohesive, but how we did it, wherever it is we did, is leading with being really busy in our area. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's free will offering, sometimes it's way, maybe we're going in the red. But maybe that leads to the part two advice: keep your full-time big boy big girl job if it's a decent one,
Mhm.
and don't jump sooner than you have to. I am a signed label artist and I have a executive level sales position. It makes it very busy, but your first priority, especially if you're married, you got kids, is to your family. Don't be a poor musician if you can help it. Like, serve your family well first. So those are my two.
And I mean, those are great words. Just anybody, just not even a musician. Those are great words. Just to be, serve Jesus, serve God, get get out there in the community, and then again, everything will follow after that. So, where can fans connect with the band and stay updated on your upcoming music and events?
Absolutely. So we try to make it easy. The present, this is another nugget for you. Presence Music. It was Presence Music, but Presence Music wasn't available on some socials, so we added the band word. And now, because iTunes won't let you switch it, we are now Presence Music Band, and a band is officially a part of it. Like it used to be the Rhett Walker Band or whatever. So now for officially, we are the band word as well. So enjoy that. But the positive part is iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to music, thanks to NRT Music. A little bit of TikTok, mostly very heavy on the Facebook, Instagram,
Mhm.
website, Presence Music Band. And then
Okay.
people say, and I say, maybe something that's not a Christian, they don't really get that Jesus-y word. It's God's presence, not Christmas presents.
Right.
So that's how you know to find it. Except Christmas time, we have our Christmas presents tour.
Ooh. So
Isn't that
play on
wonderful?
words, right? I love it. Wait, so
So
do you spell it Presence when you do the Christmas tour, or do you actually spell it as it's supposed to be, presents, like with the T?
usually the other one with the
Oh, okay.
C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
making sure.
Because then it's more funny, right? So then it's
Right,
Christmas presents.
exactly.
Yeah.
You got the
Um,
play on words there.
we follow everyone back and we answer every message. So
Awesome. Well, that's good to, again, goes back to the whole community aspect, beginning to build with your fans and fan base. And, you know, definitely something that, unfortunately can be lacking sometimes, but
yep.
we're glad that we've been able to take some time to talk with you today, Brandon. Thank you so much for that. You know, Sound of Your Name as a track, it really resonates. Definitely resonates with me. I think it would resonate with a lot of people out there. So, you know, for those watching, please check it out. Link is going to be in the description there. We're really looking forward to seeing what's next for the Presence Music Band. And again, thank
Don't
you again,
forget.
Brandon. Right? Thanks, Brandon, for joining us here on Kingdom Builder. We really do appreciate your time.
Oh, it's been such a blessing. Would love to be back again. We have a song, Refining Me, will be coming out in early March. Would love to have my wife on. She's I won't speak for my bandmates, but between the two of us, she's 90% of the talent and 100% of the looks. So hope to be on with you again. Kevin speaks very highly of you. I can see why. Love you guys. Excited to check out Kingdom Builder TV stuff more often, and excited to stay connected with you, man.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you. And again, when you come to Orlando, we'll have to see if we can meet up. But again, thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon, bro. God bless.
Huge thanks again to Brandon of Presence Music Band for hanging out and sharing his heart behind Sound of Your Name. If you love the conversation, don't forget to hit that like button, drop us a comment with your favorite part, and share this video with a friend. And of course, as always, subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you never miss an interview with today's top Christian artists. Until next time, this is Mike Laxton, reminding you to keep Christ first in your lives, and everything else will fall into place. God bless you.